Recently, I finished a complete living dex in Pokémon Home. Now, the logical next step is to go for a full shiny living dex in Pokémon Home, right? Well, here is my full shiny living dex in Pokémon Home. Wait a minute, there's like nothing here. This doesn't make sense. I've been shiny hunting for 9 years. I can't believe I just said that. But if I've been shiny hunting for this long, where are all my shinies? Oh, that's right, they're all in my older games. So I guess it's time to send over 100 shiny Pokemon from older Pokemon games into Pokemon Home. Before we start sending, I wanted to quickly go through the shinies I have found in my Generation 3 games. I keep all of these in my main Leaf Green cartridge. I would go more in depth to the stories behind all these shinies, but this video would get way too long. I do, however, plan to go through everything I have in depth in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to see that. I will note though that I'm going in living dex order, and these Pokemon count for the Pokemon that have a gender difference, starting with the female Venusaur. Starting with this Pidgey, all of these shinies are duplicates that I do not need at all whatsoever, but we may as well send them up too. Before we make the journey to Generation 4, I wanted to quickly show off the shinies I have in Generation 4 that are joining the transfer process. I also have this shiny Slowking that's in a different save file because at the time of recording that, I did not have a nickname for it. I'll leave a card on screen for the video where I found the shiny Slowking, and in it I asked for nickname suggestions. Thank you to everyone who gave nickname suggestions, but I had to go with the name Napking. It was a funny and clever nickname that I really liked, so that's the name I went with. So shout out to the commenter who suggested that name. Also, if you want to see the shiny reactions of any of these shinies, I have a Google Sheets page linked in the description that shows my shiny living dex progress, along with linking the videos of me getting every shiny live. In Generation 4, you need to catch your Pokemon in Pal Park to complete the transfer, and man, this was a crazy process.
Okay, that's sick, dude. It's gonna be so cool seeing all these get sent up this way. I'm not gonna commentate on all of them, but like come on. That is so sick. It's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be sick.
Now enjoy this compilation of encountering all these shinies in Pokemon Platinum. I'm not gonna lie, this process really took me back to when I was a kid and had an action replay and used it to reskin every Pokemon to be shiny. It honestly felt like I was cheating doing this because I was only encountering shinies for this. While we're encountering all these shinies, I wanted to explain why I'm doing this. Since I've gotten back into the Pokemon series, I've always loved the idea of transferring my Pokemon up to the latest games, as I've always loved the connectivity between the games. I also loved having my entire collection all in one place, and if I have some shinies separated in older games, while others are in later games, it wouldn't really hit the same as it would to see them all together in Pokemon Home. Also, I know some of you probably think I'm crazy, as shinies look cooler in the older games, or it's better to keep the shinies you found in the games you found them in, or shinies are way too easy to find in later games, so sending these up makes them worthless. To me, shiny value is strictly personal. Outside of your own personal value towards your shinies, they're completely worthless anyway. And for me, I'll always know how I obtained these shinies and which games I got them in, regardless of what games they're currently in. Also, I backed up my save files, and after transferring them up, I restored the save files back, so they're actually still in the older games anyway, but don't tell anyone I told you that. So here are all the shinies now in Generation 4, and now including the few extra shinies I have found in Gen 4. Next, we need to use the Transfer Lab in Generation 5. This process is a lot quicker than Pal Park, but still takes a bit to mass transfer the Pokemon. We need to catch all of the Pokemon hopping around these bushes, so here's the footage of me doing it for the first 6 shinies. Also, I'm not gonna show this entire process, as Pokemon don't even show up shiny during this. I also have never actually hunted a shiny in Generation 5 yet, so there's no new shinies to be added to the mix for this one. But here is all the shinies I have in Generation 5 now. Next, we need to use Poke Transporter to send our shinies from Gen 5 into Pokemon Bank. The process is really simple, as you need to move all the Pokemon you're transferring into Box 1, then Transporter sends them into Bank. While doing this process though, I had a bit of an issue. One or more Pokemon have a nickname containing words prohibited on the Nintendo 3DS system. Any such nickname will be modified? I gotta figure out what Pokemon that is. I don't think I have any inappropriate Pokemon. Why do I feel like it's Hypno? Why do I feel like it's Hypno? I'm guessing it's either Hypno or Kadabra. I think. I can't imagine it's anyone else. It's gotta be either Hypno or Kadabra. That's my guess. Raspberry, Mr. Sniffles running, Richie, Rachel, Psy. Oh, apparently Mankey. It's literally Mankey. So the thing is, I'm pretty sure when I named it, I double checked to make sure it wasn't like an inappropriate thing. So I'm curious as to what that actually is now. It literally means stylish. Stylishly luxurious and expensive. And it says informal. It doesn't say derogatory or anything. Like, it's not... I don't think it's some sort of slur. Or to act in a showy or pretentious manner. Why is this... Why is it like this? Why can't I have this name? What the heck? I can't change the name now. I mean, I guess I could go back and, like, rename it and then resend it up, but that's gonna be a huge problem. That's annoying. Hopefully in Gen 9 I can rename it and have it be the same name. It's only gonna be Gen 6 and 7 that it's not named for some reason. But it's okay, because Venusaur is also not named. That's so annoying though. Hopefully this is the last time that's an issue. So yeah, unfortunately our Mankey is gonna be unnamed in both Gen 6 and Gen 7, but here are all the shinies in Generation 6. Just like Gen 5, there are no new shinies added to the mix. I have done some shiny hunts in Gen 6, but I have already sent them up into Home, so we'll see them later. Moving on to Generation 7, since the transfer process is as simple as moving the shinies into Bank and then into the Gen 7 file, I decided to not show that process. But here are the new shinies that are being added to the bunch to be sent into Home. And here are all of the shinies, the old ones and the new ones combined in Generation 7. Next, we need to transfer all of our shinies from Pokemon Bank into Pokemon Home. At this point, I'm not putting everything in Gen 8 and then Gen 9, as these games don't even support every Pokemon, and you can send them back and forth between all the Switch games anyway, except for Let's Go, as that's part of Gen 7. And here comes the tedious part of putting every Pokemon in its correct spot in Pokemon Home. And now, there's only one more thing left to do. Alright, now that we're finally in a game where you can nickname Pokemon where you're not the original trainer, and it is a game where you have 12 characters, I said I was gonna do this a while back during my Leaf Green Dream Team quest when I went to get the starter, which was Bulbasaur. I didn't nickname it because there weren't enough characters in the older games. You only get 10. I think I needed 12 for this one, and I really wanted to nickname it this, and now I finally can, because it's a later gen game, and you can actually nickname Pokemon that aren't your or that aren't from you, which it is from me, but it's not from this save file. And we are going to nickname this. I mentioned this in the Dream Team quest video, so I guess check that video out. I might leave a card for it. But we are going to name it. I gotta make sure I spelled this right, because you only get one shot at this. Once it's named, you can't name it again. We are naming it Grocery Store, which is a goofy name that... Okay, we need 11 characters for it. Let me make sure that it's spelled correctly. Needed 11 characters for it, but you only get 10 in the older games. This is just a goofy name that my brother came up with because it sounds like grocery store, but it's a grocery store. And yeah, just a goofy name, just making sure everything is spelled correctly, because again, once it's named, I can't name it again. There we go. See, the change name goes away since it's not from this save file. It's from Gen 3. I can't send it back, so can't nickname it anymore. The other thing I wanted to do is hopefully rename this Mankey back to what it was before. Hopefully this works. Okay, it works. Cool. So we named it Swanky. I should double check to make sure that's how I spelled it. I guess I can just soft reset if I spelled it wrong. But yeah, the 3DS had some sort of like profanity filter, and Swanky is not a bad word, but there is a word within it that I guess flags it. I'm not going to say the word for obvious reasons, but yeah, I double checked, looked up Swanky just to make sure it wasn't like a slur or a bad word or anything like that, and it isn't. It just means it could be used to describe someone who's arrogant, and it also means luxurious. So I thought that was fitting for a shiny Mankey, and it sounds like it. So, because obviously Mankey, Swanky. But yeah, because there is a word within the name that is bad, that again, I'm not going to say, it redid the name, and now I had to wait till Home, or like Gen 8 or 9 to rename it. I think Mankey's only in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Scarlet and Violet, but rest assured, justice for Swanky, we got the name back, so that's good, and we're finally able to nickname Grocery Store, so I'm pretty happy about that. And there we go, my now up-to-date shiny living dex. There are still a lot of holes, but at least most of Generation 1 is now filled out. If you're wondering why even though I've been shiny hunting for 9 years and the shiny living dex seems a bit lackluster as of now, that's because for my personal shiny living dex, I want them all to be found at the full odds rate, and for them to be found live on my YouTube. So some shinies I have found may have not counted for one reason or another. But here's what I got so far. There may also be some shinies that I have found that I have not posted in a video yet, so I have yet to feature them in this shiny living dex. But there's my current shiny living dex. In a future video, I'm going to be going over my entire Pokemon Home collection, so stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed for that. But for now, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring those notification bells, all that good stuff. Be sure to join the domination, and I will see you in the next video.